Dear students, in today's session, we are going to talk about the first unit of the subject Human Resource Management. In this unit, we are going to talk about the basic introduction about the concept of human resource management, the functions, nature, importance, and the evolution of the subject human resource management. First of all, why do we need human resource management in organizations? Now, if we talk about this human resource management concept, it comprises of three words, that is human, resource, and management. Now, human are the employees or the workforce that is working in an organization. And why do we call them as resource? The simple thing is because these people are the assets to any organization. They are not the liabilities. Without human resources, any kind of non-human resource cannot be put to use. So it is very important to have optimum utilization of human resources in the organization. Now, in order to manage these human resources most appropriately, human resource management function is required in organizations. Now, when we talk about this management, generally speaking, management comprises of 5 main functions, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And when we apply these functions of management to the effective utilization of manpower in an organization, that becomes human resource management. Now, coming over to again the another insight into the concept of human resource management. Now we see that organizations, they need to provide a healthy work climate to people. Now whose responsibility is this? This is the responsibility of human resource management in the organization. There are a varied variety of people working in an organization, which we call as diversity of workforce. We have people belonging to different age group, gender, different cultural backgrounds, social backgrounds, educational backgrounds, now fully pertaining to the needs of these people, along with ensuring that the organizational goals and objectives are fulfilled in the best possible manner, making sure that these people, that is the workforce in an organization, is managed in the most effective and efficient manner. And this is where human resource managers play a critical role by bridging the gap between what are the employee expectations and what the organization expects from an employee. Now, when an employee joins an organization, every employee has certain expectations from the organization, and of course, in return, the organizations also expect something from the employees. Now, it is very important that both the expectations need to match. If there is a gap, then the possibility of organization and an employee going on together is becomes very weak. Therefore, in order to ensure that there is a strong relationship, there is a strong bond between an organization and an employee, the human resource management is very important. It ensures that whatever employees we have, their skills, their capabilities are fully utilized so that organizational goals are achieved. So, in short, when we are defining human resource management, it can be said that human resource management is the art of procuring, developing, and maintaining a competent workforce to achieve the goals of an organization in an effective and efficient manner. This is one of the most crisp or the shortest definition of human resource management. Coming over to some more definitions of human resource management. One of the definition, it says, human resource management is concerned with the most effective use of people to achieve organizational and individual goals. It is a way of managing people at work so that they give their best to the organization. So even when we have a closer look at this definition, even this definition talks about making sure that individual goals as well as organizational goals are attained simultaneously. Because when we are talking about human resource management, we are making sure that there is a synchronization and integration between corporate goals as well as goals of every employee in the organization, because the employees will work with their full zeal, enthusiasm, and support for the organization only when they have this feeling that while attaining organizational goals, their personal goals are also being met simultaneously. So ensuring this is very, very important. So it is a way of managing people at work. So human resource management basically aims at managing, planning, organizing, directing, and controlling the people at work so that they are able to put in their best of efforts and best of capabilities so that organizational goals are achieved, organizational productivity is maximized, and they are able to synchronize their goals with the organizational goals. One of the another definition of human resource management as given by famous authors in the areas of management, that is Stephen P. Robbins and David A. DiCenzo, it says that human resource management is concerned with the people dimension in management. As evident from the word itself, that is human resource management, the focus is on the human beings, that is the employees, the workforce, the manpower in the organization. Further, the definition says, since every organization is made up of people, so acquiring their services, developing their skills, motivating them to higher level of performance, and ensuring that they continue to maintain their commitment to the organization are essential to achieving organizational objectives. Now, this definition again emphasizes on the end result, that is achieving organizational goals or objectives. And how it is done? It is done by making sure that the right kind of people are acquired for the organization. And when we're talking about acquiring right kind of people, we are talking about recruitment of employees, selection of employees, job analysis, job description. When we're talking about this, developing their skills, we are talking about training and development of employees. We are talking about giving them adequate opportunities for growth, enhancement, giving them sufficient motivation so that they work towards improving their performance, managing their performance, compensation of employees, and such other aspects so that the commitment of an employee stays with the organization, not only initially but towards the end as well. Few more definitions. One of the another definition, again a very comprehensive and a crisp definition as given by Edwin B. Flippo. It says that human resource management is the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling of the procurement, development, compensation, integration, maintenance, and separation of human resources to the end so that individual, organizational, and social objectives are accomplished. Now again, if we have a look at this definition again talks about human resource management, the functions of human resource management, that is planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. These are the broader functions, and under these functions, the sub-functions that are involved are procurement, which is related to recruitment and selection of employees. Development is related to training, development, growth, career prospects of employees. Compensation talks about giving them the adequate compensation, designing adequate compensation plans which are motivating enough. Integration talks about maintaining good relationships between the employees and the employers, collective bargaining, and such other things. Maintenance of employees, it talks about maintaining the employee record, data, And separation talks about when an employee leaves the organization, the various formalities which are associated with it, conducting exit surveys, and such other things. So, in short, we can say that the day an employee enters the organization to the day he leaves the organization, all such aspects which are associated with the employees, they are part of human resource management function. And why they are the part of human resource management function? Because at the end, what we are trying to accomplish is we are making sure that individual goals, organizational goals, as well as social goals are accomplished in synchronization with each other. So in general, human resource management refers to all categories of programs, functions, and activities that are designed to maximize both the employee as well as the organizational effectiveness. So overall, this is the basic concept of human resource management. One more definition, it says human resource management is a series of integrated decisions that form the employment relationship. Their quality contributes to the ability of the organizations and the employees to achieve their objectives. And this definition is given by Milkovich and Boudreau. So again, this definition again talks about the integration of various functions and sub-functions which are part of employees right from the beginning to the day they exist, their relationship between the organization and the management and the employees. So, and the basic purpose is to achieve the goals, the employee goals as well as the organizational goals. And the synchronization between these two goals is very important. And this is where the task, the function of human resource management comes in. So if we just have a look at this diagram also, so this again diagram focuses on the fact that human resource management is a central subsystem in any organization. If we consider that organization is a system, then there are so many subsystems which make up this entire system. Say suppose if one of the subsystem is production, another is marketing, another is finance, another is technical, then human resource is one of the core or one of the central subsystem among all these, because all these subsystems cannot function without manpower, without human resources. So human resource is a central subsystem to any organization, because it is that system which is going to provide manpower to all the systems in the organization. If we are talking about a technical subsystem, for example, a technical subsystem will comprise of all the non-human resources that an organization may possess. Now, all these, and this might include the IT systems that the company may be having. This might include the entire infrastructure the company may be having. So all these things we understand cannot be put to use without human resources. Similarly, we are talking about production subsystem, right? So the production subsystem also comprises of machines and raw material and so on. Now all these machines and raw materials again cannot be put to use on their own. In order to make these things put to use in an organization, human resources are required. That is why we say that human resource is a subsystem which is central to the organization in every aspect. Now, since human resource management is so important, that is why organizations nowadays have a separate human resource management departments. Coming over to the next aspect, that is the features or the nature of human resource management. Now let us consider these points one by one. When we talk about the first thing, that is pervasive force. Now we say that human resource management is a pervasive function. Now why we call it as a pervasive function? The reason is that human resource management is one function which is all present, which is present in each and every organization irrespective of its nature and size. Whether it is a banking organization, it is an educational institution, it is a multinational company, it is a financial institution, it is a production organization, any organization that exists, human resource management is bound to be there, because no organization can function without human resources or the manpower, and wherever we have manpower, human resource management ought to be there. Next point talks about action orientation. Now, human resource management is strictly action oriented. It aims at taking actions to the problems of individuals in an organization. It is not just a theoretical concept. It is basically putting these theories into practice. It is putting ideas into application. So that is why human resource management is action oriented. It is individual oriented because it considers every individual differently. Because as I talked earlier, people belonging to different educational backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, social backgrounds are part of an organization. So therefore needs, wants and expectations of all people are different from others. Therefore these things have to be considered individually. Therefore human resource management is an individual oriented function. It is people oriented because it puts people first, right? Apart from anything else, people comes first because it all starts from people. All starts from humans, the manpower, the workforce in the organization. So it considers the people's objectives first, people's benefits first, people's interest first, and then comes the other things. Then it is a comprehensive function because it encompasses all kinds of organizations, it encompasses all kinds of managers. It is not that human resource management is just concerned for middle level managers or senior level managers or junior level managers. It is a function which is equally applicable to all the functions, all the layers, or all the levels of management in an organization. That is why it is comprehensive. Because whatever policies and practices and programs are adopted by human resource management department, they are equally applicable to all the employees working in an organization. The next point focuses on development orientation. Now, one of the focus areas of human resource management is employee development. Now, human resource management ensures and believes in the philosophy that employee development is very, very essential, because until and unless employees develop their skills and capabilities, they will not be able to function fully for the organization. So for the benefit of organization, it is very essential that the development of employees should not stop. That is why a lot of emphasis is being given on training and development of employees, learning and development of employees in all the organizations. It is a continuous function because it is not a one shot activity. There are so many sub functions are involved in the human resource management purview, in the human resource management domain, and we see that right from the first day, when the people are hired into the organization, when they have their orientation programs or their induction programs, to the day that they leave the organization, so many functions are associated with human resource management. So it keeps going on and on and on and does not stop. So that is why it is a continuous function. It is an integrating mechanism because it aims at integrating organizational goals with the individual goals. Because unless and until there is an integration between these two, people will not work. Because the employees should have this feeling, the employees should have this belief that while attaining organizational goals, their personal goals are being met simultaneously. So that is why it aims at integrating the goals of employees with the goals of the organization. Then another point talks about interdisciplinary approach. This means that the function of human resource management draws knowledge from so many different subject areas. For example, it draws a lot of knowledge from psychology, to understand human behavior. It draws lot of knowledge from the subject of organizational behavior. It draws knowledge from the subject of industrial relations and labor laws. So, and so on. So a lot of knowledge is being drawn from different subject areas to have an overall understanding of the human resource management area. It is a challenging function because dealing with people is not an easy task. Every person is different. So it is not easy to predict the behavior of human beings very accurately. No one can do that. So identifying when and how a person is going to behave in what manner, that is very, very difficult. So that is why it has a lot of challenges. So human resource managers, they face a lot of challenges in the face of changing era, in the face of changing technology, in the face of so many changes taking place in the external environment, as well as because people are different, people behave differently, people have different needs, wants, and expectations. So, catering to the needs, wants, and expectations of each and every employee is quite challenging. Then it is a future oriented process, future oriented function, because it believes in the future of an organization, it believes in building the future of an employee. So that is why it is a future oriented function. It is the nervous system, as we just discussed in the previous slide, because it is the central subsystem of an organization. The other subsystems, they are all connected to this human resource management system. It is of recent origin. When we say it is of recent origin, the basic idea behind saying this is that it is recent as compared to other functional areas such as production, marketing, finance. Especially when we talk about the Indian context, the concept of human resource management emerged quite lately as compared to production, management, production, marketing, finance, because all these things evolved earlier, but the relative realization that a separate human resource management department or a separate HR functional area needs to be there in an organization, this realization came quite late. That is why it is of recent origin. Last but not the least, it is basic to all the functional areas in an organization, be it marketing, production, finance, operations. Any manager in any of these divisions need to have an understanding about human resource management. In common parlance, it is often said that every manager is an HR manager for his or her team, because if a manager is handling a team of, say, suppose 10 employees, then for those 10 employees, some of the basic functions of human resource management, say suppose if we're talking about recruitment, if you're talking about the motivation of employees, so for all these things, the immediate manager is himself or herself responsible for the team. Therefore, every manager need to have knowledge about the concept of human resource management. The next thing that we are going to discuss in today's lecture is the objectives of human resource management. Now, some of the broad objectives that can be talked about are, first thing, and the foremost important thing, the thing that I have been talking about in the previous slides, that the basic function of human resource management is to attain organizational goals. And how these goals are to be attained? These goals are to be attained with the most effective and efficient utilization of the existing manpower. So the first point that is written over here in the slide, it also focuses on the same aspect. That is, the first thing first, to help any organization reach its goals. Second thing, to employ the skills and ability of the workforce efficiently, to make sure whatever manpower the organization has, their skills and abilities should be utilized in the best possible manner. And why they should be utilized in the best possible manner? So that an organization can reach its goals. Another point says, third point, it says to provide the organization with well-trained and well-motivated employees, which is again come under the functions or one of the functions of human resource management, the basic objective is that when the people are trained, when the people are motivated, they will put in a lot of enthusiasm, zeal in the work that they are doing for the organization, right? So that is why training of employees and motivation of employees is very, very important. Well trained employees will commit less mistakes. They will not add on costs to the organization on account of committing mistakes. Well motivated employees, they will be more engaged, they will be more satisfied, and when they are more satisfied and more engaged, their productivity levels are going to be higher as compared to unmotivated employees. Then, to improve the employee's job satisfaction to the fullest, it is very important to ensure that human resource practices are put to use in an organization. Another reason, to maintain a quality of work life, to maintain work life balance, to maintain a healthy work environment, it is very, very important that human resource management is well placed in the organization to make sure that whatever policies the organization has, whatever programs the organization has, all these are communicated well to the employees so that the employees, they have a general understanding about the mission of the organization, the vision of the organization, what is the objective that the organization strives to achieve, what kind of expectations the organization has from the employees in order to make sure human resource management is important. Then, last but not the least, again, it helps to maintain ethical policies and behavior within the organization. So, human resource management, if it is well placed in an organization, it ensures that ethical practices, ethical behavior, ethical policies are adopted all across the organization so that employees do not feel that there is some kind of biasness or that something wrong is being done on part of the organization with respect to either the society or the employees or in general towards all the stakeholders. And moreover, it also ensures that employees also follow ethical behavior when they are working in the organization. So because of these reasons, human resource management is required in the organization. Now, these objectives can be broken down into some other forms also. For example, personal objectives, functional objectives, organizational objectives, and when all these objectives are attained, eventually societal objectives are accomplished. Now, let us have a look at these objectives one by one. For example, if we talk about, I'm starting from the bottom one, that is, if we are talking about personal objectives. Now, personal objectives, it refers to the personal objectives of any of employees in an organization. Employees, they are looking out for training and development opportunities, they are looking out for growth opportunities in the organization. Employees are looking out for their appraisals, they are looking out for good compensation plans, they are looking out for great performance appraisals. So all these aspects are the supporting functions to attain personal objectives. Similarly, the functional objectives are for any organization, and their supporting functions would be related to employees' performance evaluation, the correct placement of employees according to the job roles, and finally their assessments. So that is there. Then if we talk about organizational objectives, the supporting functions could be human resource planning, employee relations, selection, training and development, appraisal, placement, and assessment. So again, we can see that personal objectives are being adding on to functional objectives are being adding on to organizational objectives, and by means of attaining all these three categories of objectives, we are ultimately and eventually moving towards attaining societal objectives at large. And the societal objectives at large, they talk about legal compliances towards the customers, towards the stakeholders that the company needs to follow, ensuring that the different sections of the societies are adequately benefited from the functions and activities of the organizations, and making sure that there are cordial relationships between the union and the management so that any kind of strikes, lockouts, protests, demonstrations, or any kind of violence does not hamper the peace which is prevailing in the society. So this was with respect to the objectives. Coming over to the next part of unit number 1 itself, that is scope of human resource management. Now again, when we're talking about scope of human resource management, we are talking about different kinds of activities or functions that come under the purview of management. This is as per NIPM. NIPM is National Institute of Planning and Management. Now, according to National Institute of Planning and Management, there are 3 categories under the scope of human resource management. First, personal aspect. Second, welfare aspect. And third is industrial relations aspect. Coming over to first one, that is personal aspect. When we talk about personal aspect, it basically comprises of the basic managerial functions related to manpower planning, recruitment, selection, training, development, transfers, promotions, remunerations, incentives, etc. So all these things related to the employees, they come under the personal aspect. When we talk about the welfare aspect talks about maintaining good working conditions, hygienic working conditions, maintaining an overall physical environment which is essential for the employees to work, and providing the facilities of canteens, crèches, lunch rooms, providing transportation and medical facilities to the employees, housing facilities to the employees, health, safety measures, recreational facilities. So all these things come which are beyond the basic functions of management, that come under the welfare aspect of employees. The basic purpose of this aspect is basically to motivate the employees, to basically generate a sense of belongingness towards the employees, to make sure that the employees have a good opinion about their organization. The employees should have this feeling that their organization cares for their welfare. Then the third aspect is industrial relations aspect. Now this aspect talks about cordial relationships, maintaining good relationship between the union and the management by means of collective bargainings, by means of dispute settlements, by means of grievance redressal procedures. So setting up such things, collective bargaining committees in the organization, having a proper grievance redressal mechanism in the organization, having a proper dispute settlement procedure in the organization, it makes sure that cordial relationships are maintained within the organization, so that in any case, if an employee is dissatisfied or has some kind of issues with the organizational policies or any such areas, then the employee should know to whom to contact in such issues. The employee, if there is any kind of grievance in the mind of an employee, if there is any kind of a dispute which may happen between two employees, then the people in an organization should know whom to connect to, so that these things can be resolved. Because resolving these issues is very, very important to maintain an overall healthy work environment. So if we just have a look at this slide, then if human resource management comes at the center, the 4 aspects, another way of looking at the scope of human resource management, it talks about the control, the acquisition, development and maintenance of human resource management. When we talk about acquiring, it includes human resource planning, recruitment, selection and placement. The development talks about training, career development, internships, organizational development, and so on. Maintenance or retention talks about employee compensation, motivation, health, safety, welfare, performance evaluation, maintaining cordial relationships, providing adequate social security measures to the employees. And then when we talk about the last but not the least, that is the control function of human resource management, it talks about human resource audits, human resource accounting, human resource information system, so that there should be a mechanism to keep a check or to keep a control over the activities and functions of human resources. The next point of concern or the next topic of concern that today is the importance of human resource management. Till now we have talked so much regarding the basic concept, the objectives, the scope. So keeping all these things into consideration, maintaining cordial HR practices, maintaining good HR practices in the organization, having a program, having a set of rules, procedures and practices with respect to human resource management will help in attracting and retaining the talent, training the people for challenging and higher order roles in the organization, developing the skills and competencies of employees, promoting teamwork in the organization, ensuring that the employees are committed and loyal to the organization. It helps in increasing the productivity, profits, and end results of the organization. It helps in improving the job satisfaction. It helps in improving the standard of living, the work-life balance of employees, and moreover, it promotes a lot of employment opportunities, lot of for the existing employees as well as for the new workforce. So in the light of these, human resource management, importance of human resource management can also be studied. Since, like we talked about objectives of human resource management at various levels, similarly we can talk about the importance of human resource management at various levels also, at the enterprise level, at the individual level, society level, and national level. For example, why human resource management is important for an enterprise? For an enterprise, it is important because it helps in attaining organizational goals, right? It helps in attracting the employees, retaining the employees, training of employees, compensation of employees, and ultimately attaining results. If we talk about individual level, that is how it is useful for an individual. So human resource management provides a lot of growth opportunities, career opportunities, training opportunities, placement opportunities to the employees. So that is how it is important for individuals. If we talk about society level, again, if we talk, so over here, so human resource management ensures that legal compliances are met, the ethical policies and practices are followed towards all the stakeholders of the society. So that is why it is important at society level. And at the end, if we talk about at the national level, human resource management ensures that the people in the country, they get a lot of employment opportunities. So it ultimately helps in contribution towards the GDP of the country. It ensures that the right kind of products and services are offered to the people. It ensures that uh, the ethical policies and ethical behavior is followed at all the levels in the society. So that is how importance of human resource management can be realized at all the levels in an organization. The next thing that we are going to talk about is the functions of human resource management. Now, we have a huge list of the functions of human resource management. The first category of functions is the managerial functions. The second category of functions is the operative functions.